Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategy, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon Haddad. How are you this morning?
Good, brother. I am in Pottsboro, Texas. We are going through summer camp here, and it is unbelievable. It is hot. Let me just put it that way. Okay, it is hot, and it's a lot of fun. But it's cool that you and I can still connect, touch base. That's part of the reason I love doing this podcast, because it doesn't matter where you're at, where I'm at. It's just easy to jump on. So this will be a good one today. I love the path that you and I are headed. We were just talking about before we jumped on.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. And we have a lot going on today. We have the Broker Buzz, where we dive into the top posts of the week from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. Then we'll hop into the sales pitch training, where John helps us become better salespeople. And then we will wrap things up, as we always do, with story time with John. But first, we have a fortune cookie.
Yes, sir.
And this week's fortune... A wave of positivity is coming soon.
Oh man, I think we both need that, my friend.
Yep. Yes, we do.
That one hits us both pretty hard.
Thank you. Please and thank you.
Why don't we just leave it at that for this one? Hey, fortunes, okay? Please and thank you for Tommy Golightly and I. Please let that one be the case for us this week.
Leave them down in the comments. Leave the positivity down in the comments. Mm-hmm. So our first question for the Broker Buzz this week, we have John. What's one lesson you've learned the hard way in your career?
Oh my God. There's so many. The biggest one is so when you start so where I started at in retail, you're not paid on closings. When I did it, I have no idea how it is anymore, but you weren't paid on closings. So you're paid literally on collecting a deposit, and the deposit is to pay for the appraisal and the credit report. We used to call it a good faith deposit, is what we would say. And so one of my first ever loans, I was 21 years old. You got to realize I didn't, not knowing what's going on and fully understanding the whole process, but we got a lot of opportunity, a lot of business. But the first loan I had to deny out was devastating. I don't think I've ever had more anxiety in my life. And it was because I just didn't read a guideline and didn't know for a guideline. For those that don't know, this is the FHA doesn't allow you to be within a gas station. I think it's I think it's 100 feet or 200 feet, whatever it is now. We actually had that question not long ago.
Yeah,
but
I remember that.
I didn't know. And it sucked denying that loan out. We were saving this client a tremendous amount of money. It was a cash out refinance. They didn't qualify for conventional anymore. That one sucked. I'm just going to be upfront with you. I don't want to go into any more detail on it. It was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Just for the consumer's sake, they just really needed that loan. And I thought I had it, and it looked great in my system. And I was so excited. I was high-fiving. And so celebrating me more than the client is a huge mistake that people make. Don't celebrate you. Don't celebrate that you got the loan closed. Celebrate the client. You have to change your mindset immediately. You do. You have to change your mindset, man, because that was a mindset a lot of new LOs have. And a lot of new LOs still have that mindset where it's like, oh, me, I got to close this. I have to do it. No, you're consumer.
Yeah.
Start thinking about them, and you won't make as many bad decisions. And that's just what I dealt with early on, and I've learned to work through that.
Love it. Next question. What's the most overlooked factor that impacts loan approval chances?
There are so many things that impact a loan approval. I can't tell you how many people have shown me AUS findings. For those that don't know, these are the automated findings that you send to the investors to see if a loan's approved or not approved. And the amount of people that'll just stop and only try it 2 or 3 times. Little things like trying a 29-year mortgage, going to a 25-year mortgage, even lowering the rate by 0.25% can get you approval findings. Trying to get reserves figured out. So perfect example, let's just say client has X amount of dollars, and there's a certain rate. There's the par rate where you just pay normal closing costs. There's no additional fees outside of the normal cost you're staring at, title work, underwriting fee. You could also potentially go higher in interest rate and provide a lender credit. A credit goes to the consumer, and if that allows that credit offset some of their costs, that could give them more reserve opportunity with the money they have left over. And if you have more reserves, sometimes the system will go approved. The other thing, doing a rescore on a loan for a client. seeing if there's little potential to increase their score to help them get approval findings. People quit way too easily when it comes to trying to get approval on a loan. There are so many unique ways to do it. The other thing is too, don't be afraid to sell a 20-year, something different. 20 years go approved more often. And people might ask, why is that the case? Investors are looking at this from a risk standpoint. Okay. So 30 years more risky in their eyes. Why? Because it's going to take you 30 years to pay it off. A 20-year, 15-year, less risky. Why? Less likely to pay it off. Or, I'm sorry, you're paying it off faster. So don't just quit at the one-time approval where you send it to the system. Try things. There are certain times where I try to force approved eligible findings just to see if it's even doable first. So if I know it's doable, I work backwards from there. So just seeing and understanding and knowing the intricacies. Then the other side of it, Tommy, just to be real, it is touch. Just the nuances, having a little touch to it, having a little flair. And last but not least, for the love of God, y'all, go read the findings. If you open up, so every time you run a loan through the system, it comes back and spits out a report of what their findings are. Now, sometimes it could be a lot of pages that you have to go through. Learn to read that. I don't have time. Yes, you do. You do have time. Well, I don't know what I'm always looking at. Wonderful. Copy and paste, put it into ChatGPT and say, can you make this easier for me to understand? And take out the client personal information. That's what I tell my LOs to do. Copy, paste. Hey, can you make this more simple for me to understand? And ChatGPT will tell you, oh, here's what this means. And then when you learn why it's being risked or why there's risk involved in there, great. Then you go back and try and figure out what to do next.
And if it is a huge document, if you are uploading it to ChatGPT, you can even, as a PDF or .txt, will actually generate you better results than if you just copy and paste the text. Because sometimes there's a
Can you explain that to them real quick? What you just said? Because that's exactly what I didn't even go into that. But can you explain that what you just meant?
Sure. So on ChatGPT and other AI platforms, when you are uploading and asking it things, you can attach files. You just simply drag and drop, or there's usually like some kind of a plus button, and then it tells you what kind of files. If you try and upload a file that type that it doesn't accept, it'll tell you real quick. But it'll usually tell you then what files it does, and usually PDF and TXT are the best. TXT is the best because it's the most raw and it is the smallest file size, and ChatGPT doesn't need all the extra fluff that takes up the extra file space in like PDFs, for example.
So you guys, just to that point, you can convert your PDF to text, TXT, just by clicking on it and looking in the top left corner. And what he's saying is GPT doesn't need you to be organized. Like it knows how to read code. It knows how to
read.
It's funny because some people don't, and that's okay. Some people just don't even know that. They think it has to be like,
I've seen because it's so much harder for us to read a .txt file. If you open a TXT file and it's just a block of text for on and on and on, you're just like, I can't read this. It's not broken up into paragraphs. It's not. Yeah. So it's just but an AI can. So
great tip.
Absolutely. And our final question this week: craziest or most memorable loan you've ever closed?
The most frustrating loan I ever closed that turned into 11 loans for the same client.
That's a lot more.
It turned into 11 loans. And so here's what happened. So the client that turned into 11 loans, it was her mother's loan that I did first. So her mother's loan was insane. She was in Georgia. This is many years ago. And she wouldn't e-sign anything. And she only wanted me to fax documents.
What year was this?
This is 2015, 2014 or 15. It's around that time.
Fax-machine still were.
Oh no, we did. Listen, we used fax up until I still use it a little bit today, but I was using fax so often when I first started in 2013, which is crazy to think that that's, like faxes in 2013, but it was a really big deal as part of our business. Well, for her, there was only one area that it's like this local pharmacy that had a fax. It was a very small town. I spent with her mom, we did 4 hours going through documents because I had to fax everything. And we spent 4 hours. 4 hours in, someone walks in to the store that she knows in the same pharmacy. She's like, I'll call you back. I'm like, what do you mean you call me back? Like we're going through documents. So then she doesn't call me back. I'm stressing. I'm like, oh no, why is she not calling me back? So the next day she calls me. Somebody else that walked in was a loan officer that happened to work for the town, loan officer. So after I spent 4 hours on the phone with her, I'm like, oh my gosh, no way right now. I just stayed late, spent 4 hours walking this sweet old lady, through documents. I'm going to lose this deal. And that's thinking about me, right? Thinking about me. I said, okay, like, you got to relax. I'm so frustrated right now. I'm very irritated. So I wait a day. I said, let this sit on for a day. I call back the next day. She's like, I still don't have numbers from this other guy. I call back the next day. I still have numbers from this other guy. Finally, I just ask her, I say, hey, I don't want to be pushy, but do you have people in your life that help you with this stuff, that go through it with you? She goes, yeah, my daughter. So me and her daughter get on the phone. Her mom ends up doing the loan with me. And then after I finally get her mom to do the loan, after 2 weeks of going back and forth, her daughter ends up doing a deal with me. I ended up doing 11 transactions for her daughter. And here's the coolest part. The first 5 were on the same house. Okay. The first, she started calling me, like she'd call me every 7-8 months, every year. We took her debt to income, and I sent her, I'll never forget this email I sent her after like the 5th loan. I took a snapshot. I said, when you first came to me, your debt to income ratio, we did an FHA loan. It was like 52%. Her debt to income, her credit score was like 670. The last loan we did, because we were doing cash out, paying off debt, we worked on plans together. I still stay in touch with her to this day. The last loan we did, her debt to income dropped to 37%. And I sent her a snapshot. She had a credit score of 720, over 720.
Nice.
And I sent her an email like, hey, since we've been working together, here's how your life has improved so drastically. That's the email I sent her. She goes, oh my God, I've never looked at it this way. Thank you so much for sharing that. My husband and I are so happy. Thank you for being there every step of the way. Then they bought another house, and I was the LO on that. They bought another house. They bought second homes. They bought investment properties. But that one frustration turned into 12 total deals, 1 for her mom, 11 for her. I wish I could say her name. She is such a sweetheart of a human being. You know who you are. Maybe, hopefully, God willing, you get to hear this one day. I actually probably will just send her this.
Please do.
After I will. Yeah. She is amazing. But that is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, because I was so livid and I was so angry at this, like, so shame. Honestly, it's a shame to look back at it. But I was 22, 23. And I'm so green. And I'm sitting there upset with this sweet old lady in Georgia, for no reason, who's just trying to make sure she's not getting ripped off on a guy. She's this 23-year-old kid in Michigan, when this guy local to her area walks in, and I'm mad. Like how silly of me to be mad at that. But just staying calm, staying poised, calling her, following up with her, finally getting in touch with her daughter. It's 12 opportunities came alive from just staying patient and consistent. So that's probably the craziest and coolest thing I've ever been a part of.
That absolutely nails that question. It's all about perspective, right? Like you said, the guy just walked in, he's local, he's right there in front of you, opposed to some person you just talked to on the phone. So
that was it. And, looking back, it's so funny. It's like, why was I mad at her? So like a guy that she knows, she like knows his dad and family, and I'm sitting here like, why won't you work with me? What am I talking about right now? But she ended up working with me, and then so did her daughter. So that was cool.
Very cool. Well, if you want your question answered on the Broker Power Up podcast, if you're an AIME member and in the Brokers Are Best Facebook group, use the hashtag Broker Power Up question, and we will be sure to get it answered. If you are not, scan the QR code on this next ad and see all that AIME has to offer, which is quite a bit. So we'll be right back with some sales pitch training.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com/membership. Your community is waiting.
All right, and we're back for some sales pitch training. The rate lock roulette close, how to convert hesitant buyers.
So, I want to take this a different path a little bit. Obviously, you and I talked about this briefly. The amount of questions, and I know why we're asking this. So Tommy's asking this, y'all. If you aren't in our Facebook group, every single week, like clockwork, somebody asks, should I lock or should I float the rate? All right. Somebody always asks that question. I'm here to make this as simple as humanly possible for all of you and your clients and when you talk to them. This is the path moving forward that you should do. All right. If you have a play that works, great. No problem. If you don't have a play that works and you're always asking, should I lock or float? This is exactly how I tell my clients every single time, especially right now in the way the market has been volatile. Anytime rates have dropped, the news has posted something. And then when the news posts something, your client comes right back to you. I know how this works. So here's what I do. I say, Tommy, now that we've elected to move forward on this loan, you have the opportunity in front of you here to do one of two things. You have the opportunity to lock this interest rate in, or you have the opportunity to float it. Now, my recommendation is always to lock because it has been a volatile environment. But at the end of the day, the decision is yours. And here's the one way I would say that is important for you to make this decision. May I share that with you?
Of course.
So I always ask guys, step one, advise on locking. That's just something that I do. I just don't like to not do that. Number two, I ask for permission to share advice with them. It's very important you get a verbal yes here. You don't want to share something with somebody that doesn't want it shared with them. So I always ask for permission because that's granting me the opportunity now to explain and showcase to you why I'm the professional. Then from there, I do this. All right. So Tommy, thank you for allowing me to share this with you. Tommy, if you're a gambling man and that's just in your blood and you don't mind a little risk, I could understand why you might want to float this rate. Now, if you're the type of person that if we don't lock today and rates go up tomorrow and that's going to really frustrate you and you're not going to be able to sleep at night, then it's really important you probably lock in this rate if that's the type of human being you are. And rates could move up, they could move down. That's just the reality of it. At the end of the day, it's all about the risk you're willing to take. Now, what kind of person are you? Are you a gambling man, Tommy? Or are you the type of person that wants to sleep solid at night?
Sleep solid, please.
Okay, if that's you, no problem. And by the way, y'all, I have clients tell me they're gambling before, right?
Oh,
Actually, I don't mind.
I believe it.
And no problem. At the end of the day, it's off my plate. And then what I do, y'all, after they say whatever they said, email immediately. Immediately while I'm on the phone with them. While I'm on the phone, I say, I just sent you an email. You can also send a text, but you're not going to come back and say, that's not what we talked about to me. Because I've had a client do that. That's why I added this last step to it. It is very important you add this last step. Email that goes out, just like we talked about on the phone. You've elected to lock. You're not much of a gambling man. No problem at all. Appreciate you. Something that simple, but then it's confirming. I make sure they get the text or the email just to confirm with me over the phone. Then I proceed and move forward. It is that simple, team. It is that simple every step of the way. So number one, advise that you should lock your rate just based on market volatility. Number two, ask for permission to explain the situation. Number three, give them a choice, but explain the choice. Really break it down for them. That's just so you know, y'all, that's how all people react, right? No one reacts differently to anything. Not everybody has gambled, but most of your clients or majority of them know the feeling of not making a decision or losing something because of a decision they didn't make. So I just talk to that. That's step three here. And then last but not least, number four is recap while you're on the phone and get confirmation. Those are my 4 steps when it comes to the rates. And more times than not, they will lock in the rate. But I've had clients that say, I don't mind gambling, John. What do you think rates are going to do over the next few weeks? Look, that's another one, y'all. I'll add this to it. What do you think rates are going to do over the next few weeks? Here's what I've been saying. About 3-4 years ago, I could have told you, and probably been pretty spot on. Right now, I have no idea. If I did, you and I wouldn't be talking. But there's been so much volatility in the market right now where I don't even want to pretend that I know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And don't bite into that. Like, clients are baiting you in there. And by the way, rightfully so. They just want to know what do you think rates are?
What's your
I hope
professional
rates go
opinion?
down,
Yeah.
Tommy. If I'm going to be honest with you, I tell clients all the time, look, rates going down is better for me and you. I just have no idea when that's going to happen because I thought it was going to happen 2 years ago.
Sure.
And that's it. I move on. And y'all, more times than not, clients lock in the rate and you're done asking that question. But John, what happens if rates drop afterwards? They drop afterwards. And you call the client, you say, hey, this is part of the conversation we had. You wanted to lock it in. Did rates move? They moved a little bit, maybe 1/8% when it comes to your interest rate. That's a difference of $23 a month. So right now, your risk is still good because rates, your loan hasn't closed yet. And we don't know where rates are going to be over the next 25 days. And that's the conversation. I'm not just pulling loans, sending to different lenders. So I hope that helps.
No, absolutely. That's a great way of framing that position. So if you want more sales pitch training live and in person, there's only one place that you should go, and that's Fuse. So scan the QR code, check out all of our exciting stuff that we have planned for Fuse, and stay tuned for more on our socials. And we'll be back on the other side with story time with John.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting-edge content we've ever produced, featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimgroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIME annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
All right, and we're back. John, the floor is yours for story time.
What I've been thinking about might be a little different than a story today. This is more about standards and the way you treat yourself and the way you speak to other people. You are sales professionals. That word professional is incredibly important. And I don't care how new you are to the industry. I don't care if you've been doing this for 1 month. I don't care if you've been doing it for 40 years. The way you treat yourself is the way clients will treat you. And I want you just to imagine for a second that you're sick. You wake up one day and you got a cough and your nose is running. You got this like little weird tick in your shoulder. Something's happening in here that you've just never felt before. And like most people, you probably log on to Google and type into Google your symptoms, and Google pops up WebMD. You click on WebMD and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this is going to be an awful experience. WebMD is telling you this is the darkest path possible. You're nervous, you're freaking out. You schedule the doctor's appointment. You go into the doctor's office. And as you sit down, you tell the doctor, here are my symptoms. Here's what I have. Here's the prescription that I need. Can you write me this prescription? And then imagine the doctor says, yeah, no problem. And they write you the prescription and you walk out the door. That's called la la land, is what that is. All right. Because you and I both know a doctor would never do that, because that's not how it works. When you walk into a doctor's office, you're entering their world. They control the conversation. They ask you the questions. And not all the time. There's some people out there that are incredibly stubborn. Some people, even in my family, talking to doctors thinking they know more. That's okay. We all have those people in our lives. But a majority of the time, you're listening to the doctor. You're answering the questions. I have 3 young kids. I got twins under 2, and I got a young girl about 9 months old. You know what I do when I go to the doctor? I let the doctor do her job. And when she asks me questions, we answer them truthfully. We tell the symptoms of the kids. What are the next steps? What should we do? How do we handle this? And she guides us every step of the way. And I want you to think now about, God forbid, let's just say you have a lawsuit coming your way and you have to get an attorney. All of a sudden you go in, you find the attorney you want, you go into the attorney's office and you say, here's the lawsuit. I need you to take this over. Here's how we're going to sue them. Here's the angle we're going to take. Here's exactly what we're going to do moving forward, what we're going to do next. That's also called la la land. You're entering the attorney's space. You sit down, you listen, you answer questions accordingly. Yet so many times when I talk to loan officers right now, we're in an order taker mentality. We're letting the consumer take control of the conversation. And I'm listening to a lot of my calls here at my company as well. And I'm hearing the same thing over and over. And part of what I'm doing right now is teaching my loan officers how to take control of a conversation. These clients do not know more than you. They don't. And I'm not saying, be rude or yell at them or do anything like that. I'm simply saying, do not lose control of the conversation. When somebody calls me, you're in my space. If you're calling me for a transaction, you want to do a mortgage, a purchase, a refinance, a reverse mortgage, whatever it might be, a home equity, you're in my world. This is my world. This is what I've done for 13 years, every single day, 12 hours a day, sometimes even longer. And so the steps for this, y'all, it's not really, it is a bit of a story, but it's more so about, do you know how to get yourself out of those situations? Do you know how to navigate the waters when a client comes in and says something to you like, I just want your rates. I just want your rates. What are your closing costs? Can you beat this offer? Can you do this? Can you do that? Hey, we're going to get there. Rest assured. Are you sure they're giving you the best deal possible? How confident are you in that? There's 5,000 lenders out there. How many calls have you made, Mr. and Mrs. Client? I'm not. What's the APR that they're offering you on the deal? The clients don't know. They're simply coming in and trying to take control. Why? Because they're nervous. It's their biggest transaction for a majority of consumers that you're talking to. They're nervous. And I love asking that question to people. You seem like you got a lot of nerves towards this. Is that a fair assumption for you to make? Oh, no. It's not that. It's not that. Oh, it's completely okay. I want you to know those nerves are not going anywhere. They're going to be there every step of the way. I mean, you're talking about a $400,000 home. I assume this is probably one of your larger assets. Is that fair to say, Mr. and Mrs. Client? Yeah, it is. All right, listen. We're going to take this super slow. I want you to do your due diligence, and I want you to feel incredibly comfortable. But I will say this. One of the biggest differences with me versus everybody else you talk to is I'm not an order taker. I'm more of an artist. I like to put things together. I like to get creative. But in order for me to do that, I got to ask you some questions. Now, you seem like the type of person that doesn't like fluff, and that's totally fine. But I do need to ask you at least 10 of these questions to make sure I can put together exactly what you need. Do I have that opportunity to ask you these questions? The flow of that conversation, and I do slow my tone down, especially when a client comes in aggressive. And you have like engineers, for example, love engineers. They really make the world go round. But they're very direct. They're very blunt. And more than likely, let's be real, y'all, they probably know how to use Excel better than you do. That includes me. But you don't know mortgages better than me. I'll tell you that much right now. There's no shot you know mortgages better than me. And so I'm direct back, but my tone goes down. My cadence changes. The way I speak changes. Don't be an order taker. Be an artist. Be creative. Be the type of human being that can put things together. You're highly compensated for what you do. Highly compensated. People wouldn't believe you if you told them how much you could make on a loan. They wouldn't believe you. So why treat yourself any differently? And I'm very aware, for those of you that are new, you have to learn how to speak this way. There's a reason, coming from retail, y'all, there's a reason that most, when you first start, you're not really jumping into $1 million loans right away. You don't know how to talk that talk just yet. But you can keep practicing every single day. You can keep studying every single day. You can learn to take control of a conversation by practicing, acknowledging the conversation, responding with relevance, pivoting into another conversation. Try new things. But here's what's not going to work. Client comes in the phone. What are your rates? You give them your rates. Even if the client chooses to move forward with you, they're still shopping you every single step of the way. Is that the client you really want? Where every single morning you have to go check interest rates and see the 10-year treasury, and anytime rates drop, even 10 basis points, this person's calling you? That's the business you want? And I know up front, you're willing to take that pain. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Take the pain up front. You want business, no problem. But just know that's not a good habit. And as long as you understand that it's not a good habit, you have the opportunity to really build yourself and create the space that you want to create. But just remember, you know this better than your clients. And when they enter your space, it's your space. Own it, embrace it, and don't let anybody let you leave that space that you're in. That's my story for the day. I appreciate you all very, very much. Until next time.
Love that story. And it works across every field, right?
Industry.
Like every industry. As the professional you are, you deserve to be heard on the things that you are a professional of. Like it's just there's a reason you're paid for what you do because you have skills, you have knowledge that the majority of people do not. You see how the whole thing comes together. You have experience watching the whole thing come together time and time again. So when something doesn't happen or when someone comes to you and is like, I'm the expert, and only gives you a third of what you need to complete or like to get to the finish line, you know that's as far as they know.
Yes.
And it's just that's where you can come in and provide that extra 2/3 of, yeah, that's good. And yes, I agree if you do. But we still need to do XYZ. What do you think about that? Where do we take that? And then you can provide your expertise and get them across the finish line.
And you're not just jumping in on everything, to your point.
Exactly.
Like you're just taking it slow. You can be methodical. You can give a little bit, right? But don't give everything.
No.
Give a little, take a little, right? It's this game of tug and war, especially if you're trying to get across to somebody, which you and I have talked about, right? Like you with marketing, trying to explain certain things without like being an ass. Like, all right, I know you want to do it this way. I just need you to know that if you do it this way, here are things like that's how you. So
yeah,
Tommy,
exactly.
That's how he does it with me, y'all. So like I have an idea and I want to blast out X. Perfect example, email blast. I wanted to do this massive email blast thing. Tommy's like, hey, we can do this. I just want you to know that there could be some risk. And he's like, would you like to know the risk? Yeah, man, of course I want to know the risk. Really simple question. Well, here are your risks. He showcases risk. You could be with the new way that emails are sent out. We could be blacklisted. This could happen. This could happen. After he goes through that with me, I said, you know what? It's not worth the risk. And we didn't do it. And all of that because why? He realized I was in his space. And he said, all right, John, you can be here, but just know you're kind of halfway in. You don't know everything about the space. But he did it in a way that wasn't condescending. He just, hey man, just you're missing. And so that's spot on. That's the exact same context that we're talking about. So think about that, y'all. That goes a very long way, regardless of the industry you're in. Appreciate you, Tommy.
Absolutely.
Good story.
Appreciate you. Well, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor. Hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content. Share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. And remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. And there's a new thing you can do. You can go and search on your podcast platform of choice, the AIME Podcast Network, and check out even more podcasts that we are pumping out to support the wholesale channel and to help you close more loans. So until next time, keep powering up.